ChatGPT proved, hey, like this is possible. There's some really cool things you can do with AI. And at the coding level, people initially were skeptical. Like they probably wouldn't even believe these things were possible over a year ago. And as they were typing code and it's completing it, a year ago again, they're like, hey, it's giving me results, they're okay, right? But the technology is moving so fast that they finally see that trend line. They see that it's going this way, like way up and to the right. And now they're asking for things that are not even possible yet. Like, so a year ago, they didn't believe it and it was okay. Now it's working very well and they want more. Everybody is just catching up to today. And I think the customers that saw us a year ago will like follow us on this journey. The new customers are gonna be like, oh, I think this is possible, I think this is possible, but we're gonna make sure that we kind of like make sure everyone's on the same page of where we are today and where we're going tomorrow. Everybody has been directed that, hey, generative AI is here, let's get some solution in place. One big challenge for us is making sure that they know the ROI and the business value. And maybe if you look at a bunch of other generative AI solutions, it's actually unclear. With coding, it's very, very clear. There's a very high ROI, but then there's a problem with like legal and security, and how do you make sure your IP doesn't escape into the internet? So then we take all these points from our customers and come up with a solution that works for everybody. With every technology, there's always a ceiling that is not really known initially. So when you look at the gold rush, the ceiling is kind of like the supply of gold, right? There's just not much left, but everyone's coming anyway. With cloud computing, actually, I think cloud computing actually did transform a lot of the application world. Like there's less database engineers now. People can easily go in and manage different tables and deploy apps very quickly. So that ceiling actually does feel like we've kind of hit it, but it took actually a long time to hit that ceiling. I think AI is actually so early that people think the ceiling is like Skynet and the world's over. But there's going to be something in between, right? And I think it's up to us, the people that are in the industry that are building AI products, to find out what is like logically the right place, the right ceiling that we can hit today, and give you a product that is utilizing the available technology. And then we're trying to build obviously towards things that are not out yet. We're assuming, like for example, let's say GPT-5 comes out maybe next year. What are the capabilities, and what should we plan on for our products to be kind of aligned with those capabilities? Or if there's like a very large breakthrough in training different models, how do we align our product to actually fit into that mold? And I think a lot of people are in the opposite camp. They see a model get released and they say, how do we use this model that's released and run it on our Nutanix box, right? But we have to be more forward looking than that. If we do what everybody else is doing, we're probably not going to succeed. The news cycle says a lot of things that people want to hear. They want to make sure like technology is like, there's something wrong, you should read our article. But there is some truth that, for example, the entire world's data has essentially been trained already. So there is a limitation of how much data has been already put into these models, but there's now innovations on, hey, it's not just text LLMs, right? Now there's a concept called LMM, like a large multimodal model, meaning there's visuals, there's sound, and then you're combining all these factors into a model. And that has just begun. So people are still living in the past on text. Yeah, we've trained all the text, but there is so much more data on visuals and sound and generating music and generating video. These things are just beginning. And I think people are underestimating, they're still living in the past if they think that we hit a wall, because there's so many more modalities where this technology is going. It's a very competitive space. There's a whole bunch of generative AI coding solutions overall. And one thing we've had to do is just make sure we've stayed ahead of the curve, right? So one example is people are concerned with hallucinations, and I type up something and it gives me the wrong output. We put a lot of work on something we call context awareness, which means everything is personalized for you and your code base and your company's code bases. And as you're typing the code, the outputs that we come out are very, very relevant, much more accurate, far less hallucinations, and other competitors now are trying to keep up. So that was what's happened in the last quarter. Going forward, there's going to be things like multi-step LLMs and repo-wide kind of changes. All these things are going to be the next battleground. And again, just as with any other fast-moving technology, it's just going to be like who's going to be moving fastest and who can get there first.